Welcome. What is your name? Have you ever thought about your name? What does it mean? Who gave it to you? And do you know where it came from? These questions are relevant. Why? Because of the fact that names are meaningful and powerful in sustaining your free will as well as your identity. In our Bantu languages, name is Zita, Jina, Igama. And then we have got this additional item that has been used to substitute something in our identity class. It's surname. It started in the 13th century. It means name, a title, an epithet added to a person's name from ser, above, that is Latin super, si ser, or name, modeled on Anglo-French surname, surnoun, in the early 14th century, a variant of the Old French surnom from se, over, and a nom, name, as family name from late 15th century. But this Oruko, Lebitso, Jinalauko is modeled according to the French now today if you have got a surname. But it should be modeled around your totem, utupo, stem, which is your identity connecting you to more powerful forces. Welcome to this topic. We have all lost our names. We need to recover them. Bantus had no surnames, but totems. They represent your ancestors and family as well as divinities. There are no totemless Africans anywhere on earth. If you have got no totem, it means you have lost it or you have forgotten it. You need to recover it as well as recover your identity. This is a book that we offer that deals with that topic. What's in a name? This is what Shakespeare said. He said a rose by any other name would still smell sweet. But he was not totally correct, because a name can be used to change and hide and take over the authority of places and people. The Atlantic Ocean is still the Atlantic Ocean, but it was known as the Ethiopian Ocean until the 19th century. So what is a name? A word or a set of words by which a person or a thing is known and addressed or referred to. So it gives ownership. So now the Atlantic is no longer owned by the Ethiopians. This is the power of a name. Some would question on and around what is in a name, and some would say, is the name powerful enough to influence your character? If yes, how does it do that? Evil
What's your
and
name?
satanic, this Kunta Kinte effect and thought should drive people from Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Hi. Say it again. Say it louder so they all can hear you. What's your name?
Evil and satanic, this Kunta Kinte effect and thought should drive people from
Toby.
Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
My name is Toby.
Hi. That's a good nigger. Cut him down.
Names are also used generally to hide original identity, as we have already shown by the term of the Atlantic Ocean, and empowers the colonizer. Out of Africa here, we are shown that a new study found that the dialects most spoken all over the world have less phonemes or distinct units of sound than those spoken in Africa, proving that our languages originated from Africa. You can get this from University of Auckland here, shown here. Therefore, any name that cannot be resolved into any African language is a new name. There's no problem with that. However, it is only indicative of the parentage of the race that coined that name. On the other hand, if it is pinned on a melanin dominant concept, personage, historical noun, it is a deceptive word or a name. Here are the examples. We have lost a lot of our names. We've got big lakes in Africa. Lake Victoria should be renamed Kerewe. One of the greatest wonders of the world, Moswatunya, is now known as Victoria Falls. One of our great lakes, Lutanzinge, is now known as Lake Albert. Rutanzige, another one, is now known as Lake Edward. We have to use original names, and the great lakes like this should be renamed no matter the costs. Great phenomenon like Victoria Falls should be renamed no matter the costs. We've got the lost name for it, Moswatunya, or the Tonga Shungu Namtitima. We cannot name them after Queen Victoria of England. No, we shouldn't. Zambia and Zimbabwe should go ahead and rename the Victoria Falls and forget about calling it Victoria Falls. Doesn't matter the cost. Eventually people will have to accept it because it is being used against our will. Names are generally used to hide original identity. Here is the proof. Our original and true names are a critical part of our identity. They contain a power that bestows ownership, stamps a personal and social anchor, trying us to erase, place our families, our culture, our history, and the position in the world. Lands that we now associate with other races due to names, such as New Zealand, which its original name is Aotearoa, was ruled and is owned by people who look like this. These are Bantus, not like this. No, not in a million years. So this is its original name, Aotearoa. The Greeks and the white Arabs who invaded Africa are still here in Africa. They changed many important names and cities. We'll give some of them here. Parawajet is now known as Buto. Jajadu is now known as Mendes. Saudo is now known as Sais. Pe Bastete is now known as Bubastit. Manyefera is now known as Memphis. Unu, Bukalanga, Vukaranga, Banu is now known as Heliopolis. This is Unu here. Unu is now Bantu. This is a proper identity of Bantu. There it is. Many others here. Kamunu or Camino is known as Hemopolis. Mabechu, known as Abydos now. Tenderereta is now called Dendera. Wazoti, our holy city, Gutadrene, the greatest holy city ever on earth for melanin dominant human being. Wherever you are, this is your holy city, known as Wazoti, is now called Tebes. Tabu is now known as Eduf. Bastata is now known as Philae. So these are the cities. There are many others. We will show you this ocean here, which you call Mediterranean, is called Rakodziba. The city here, which was called, which is now called Alexandria, was known as Rakodz. We have all lost our names. African names are not metaphysical pomposity. They carry our history. These ones. Look at them here. Think about it. Melanin dominant names convey deep inherent meaning on the bearer. Those who call out that name in sadness or pleasure, either way, they sustain the community of the living and the ancients as a unity, as a whole. Imagine if the 72 names of the original melanin dominant first ancestors were known. We would be very, very powerful. Millions of African words, titles, concepts are now extinct. Their identity lost and unknown. Their power lie dormant. This is the role that Christianity has done and the blindness that it has done to continue to suppress our identity, our ancestry, our divinities, and our names. The personification of the unknown is also captured within names. Christianity and Islam brought enslavement, colonization, and name changes. Today, we have countries that boast of being Islamic and even Christian nation. And we have melanin dominant human beings that are ready to die for these religions. These religions made that autochthonal African confidence, values for names, and a worldview. What's your name? Is it a Christian name? Even so, it may not be a Christian name at all, but it could be a name for something else. They have captured your spirit. The solution you need, if you are melanin dominant, is to adopt a melanin dominant name. Restrain from embracing foreign identity and names. Your true identity is knotted and secured to your cultural and spiritual congruence via your ancestors to the divinities. This breeds your individualized self-understanding even in hostile social engineered matrix world. Without melanin dominant name, self-understanding is dead or incomplete. Why or how? Because the drama of life takes place within the natural world. Natural world, the force is here. And the culture. As H. Sindima puts it, as nature opens itself to people, it presents possibilities for discovering how inseparably bonded people are to each other and to all of creation. So if you don't have your name that connects you via the chain links of totems to your ancestors, you are not connected to them. Therefore, the power of creative force, like the power Ptah as a melanin dominant creative god or divinity of principle through which the universe was called into being, through the creative power of speech or names, is lacking in you. If you know your name, and if you know yourself, if you know your totems, you can use the Manyepfera theology, so-called Memphite theology. In other words, you can use this following formula. Power of naming. You name it, you own it. This is why the name of the real creator is unknown. Otherwise, you would cause a lot of havoc. Almost all African words and names are a deliberate sentient determination able to engage the primary forces in nature. That's the power of your name, your melanin dominant name. If you are ignorant of these names of power, you follow the ordinary lazy mind, or you will be deceived to call the names that were brought to you by those who colonized and enslaved you. Imagine you using the name and being proud of a name of the colonizer that he put on you, like what Kunta Kinte ended up falling into. This is how enlightened Africans continue to want to use this name, because they think it is superior. It's not. Do names affect your success or failure in life? Spiritual tricks continue. You name it, you own it. It is observed that Africans are increasingly assuming Christian and foreign names. Theophilus Okere observed that missionaries and colonialists regarded every African name as a fetish. Their languages were hopeless, tone-infested cacophonies, while their names were unpronounceable gibberish for which the names of European canonized saints had to be substantiated. These are the scholars who say that. Ayandele, on the other hand, observed that many Africans, even the educated ones, like to assume high-sounding or polysyllabic foreign or alliterative names, possibly as a mark of pride of association with the West. They call you heathen anyway, pagan and infidel. Therefore, you see, names like Jackson means Jackson, and our lands were named after the colonizers, like Rhodesia, named after Cecil John Rhodes. The assumption of foreign names by Africans was not only to show admiration for them, it was a form of cultural subjugation. Culture is instantiated here as the whole complex of distinctive spiritual, material, intellectual, and emotional features that characterizes a society or societal groups. It includes not only arts and letters, but also modes of life, the fundamental rights of the human being, value systems, traditions, and beliefs, cited in Falola 2010. Very powerful here. A sense of identity can be a source not merely of pride and joy, but also of strength and confidence. It is not surprising that the idea of identity receives such widespread admiration, from popular advocates of loving your neighbor to high theories of social capital and communitarian definition. We have all lost our names. It's time you adopt a melanin dominant name and start using that name. Call me Dumizulu Mzimela Kunikeni Mjakanja Mlambo, and I will feel the zest. What's your name? Subscribe to our channel, Kamiti Iburu Ethics, and let us work together to build our greatness. If we continue with the rate of abandoning African names for Christian and foreign names, we face the danger of culture decline and racial extinction. Today is the day to begin to halt mental slavery and foreign influences. You must also have a secret name attached to your 9-fold soul. It's your secret name which should never be known by anybody. Tatenda, Yabonga, Henkos, Asante Sana, Godobori, Yenhorondo, Zewatema, Dumizulu, Mzimela, Kunken, Mjakanja, Mlambo. Have a great day.